We're here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Thursday, August 21st. Here is Seoul. I'm Isujin, and this is News Generation. Joining us today is Julian Kim.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Also, Ki Kim is with us.
Morning.
Good morning. And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. So it's Thursday, which means we're going to begin with our keyword news, where we look at a story that has been gaining traction over the past 24 hours. And today's keyword is greenhouse gas. South Korea's greenhouse gas emissions fell below 700 million tons last year for the first time since 2010. The Environment Ministry announced Wednesday that the country's emissions are estimated at about 691 million tons in 2024. The ministry typically releases preliminary data first because it takes roughly 2 years to finalize the official figure. And the decline was largely driven by a reduction in coal-fired power generation, while nuclear and renewable energy sources increased. So Ki, can this lead to a downward trend in emissions in the coming years as well? And concerns remain as industrial emissions still rose 0.4% on year in 2024.
Of course, the concern remains and it's a very difficult answer, right? But then, like you've mentioned, we were able to reduce the emission, but that's only when we're talking electricity. We used less fossil fuels and more renewable energy or nuclear energy before when producing electricity, but industrial emissions hasn't been reduced, not even a single bit. Despite the weather and climate being extreme with the super hot weather and everything, all the related institutes, both public and private sectors, need to work together to reduce the industrial emissions. To achieve our goal, greenhouse gas emissions must decline by an average of 3.6% every year, and we can expand using renewable energy, but in reality, again, the factories and related facilities that produce goods need to reduce their emissions.
So like you said, 3.6% every year is still, there's a long way for us to go, but hopefully providing incentives such as tax breaks might help.
Exactly.
So what are your thoughts on this, Julian?
Well, I definitely think it's good news that greenhouse gas emissions have been reduced, but I still believe that we need to be vigilant and proactive in cutting emissions. We should be continuing to push for more environmentally friendly policies in our government and constantly encourage the development of green technology. As Ki has mentioned, we still have a long ways to go to reduce industrial emissions. But this is a small win, but we still have a lot more to do.
So the preliminary data is being welcomed as an encouraging sign, reflecting reduced coal use and growing reliance on nuclear and renewable energy. But with major industries and transport still heavily reliant on fossil fuels, it's clear that continued policy support and investment in cleaner energy will be crucial if the country hopes to become truly carbon neutral. And that concludes our keyword news for this Thursday. And as we head our way towards the end of the work week, we're going to dive into a topic that explores how younger and older generations can share knowledge and work together in today's fast-changing world. So let's take a look at the screen to learn more. There's a saying as old as time about the importance of listening to and learning from your elders. But in today's fast-changing world, the younger generation is also gaining recognition for bringing fresh ideas, new skills, and innovative ways of thinking. And that's why we're seeing a new wave of reverse mentoring, an approach that flips the traditional mentoring model across workplaces and institutions. So today on News Generation, we're exploring how different generations can learn from one another, adapt together, and work side by side in this rapidly evolving society. So as we just saw in the video, younger generations are bringing fresh ideas and perspectives into workplaces and society. And this is one reason why reverse mentoring, where senior employees gain insights from their younger colleagues, often in areas like technology, social media, or cultural trends, and the topic of our main discussion today, has become increasingly important. So while they challenge traditional ways of doing things, younger generations also introduce innovative solutions that many never anticipated. So as these shifts continue, we're starting to see meaningful changes in how different generations connect, collaborate, and move to work together. Ki, as the only millennial in our studio today, has there been anything recently about the Gen Zs, maybe a skill or attitude or even a way of thinking that has recently surprised you in a positive way? Sorry for putting you on the spot like this.
The question hurts. I guess our lovely writer wants me to kick out of this MZ program. Anyways, as a broadcaster living and still surviving from the dinosaur era, I find it really fascinating how creative people can be with their ideas for promotions. So these days, so many, especially my juniors, are putting out their vlogs, vlogs, or reels, and it's amazing to see how they can put everything together so quickly and smoothly with just smartphone. It's very impressive. I just can't sit down and look at my phone all day with my stuffy finger to do all that. I need gadgets. I need a computer. I need a program. I need techie things to edit anything. So it's very different nowadays.
But you're someone that's obviously very active on social media. Have
Sure.
you noticed anything that the younger generation does that seemed kind of interesting?
I mean, I know all the gadgets and I know how to do it, but it's just that latest trend about the sound effect or, for example, visual effects, screen effects, and how they manipulate them and then just try to cooperate with the latest trend. That's the thing I really learned from them. Like how Julian is doing on his
He's doing great.
social media.
I've seen some of those reels. So would you be willing to learn how to edit these reels really quickly?
Of course, and then there's a lot of, for example, when I was editing, I know a lot of shortcuts with my keyboards and everything, right? And then it seems like the younger generation know how to use that and facilitate with all those apps and gadgets on their phones. So I'm really willing to learn all those.
But obviously, it's not just Key here who's open to learning new skills. People across different generations are showing growing interest in picking up the habits and strength that younger people are known for. So to get a better sense of this, we turned to our viewers on the Arirang News YouTube channel and asked, which skill commonly associated with Gen Zs would you most like to learn? And here's what they said. So 52% pointed to their ability to solve old problems in new ways. Another 25% highlight their skills in editing reels and vlogs right from their phones, while 13% mentioned their modern and open communication styles. Meanwhile, 10% said they were most impressed by how quickly Gen Zs can find information online. It's not only in daily life or personal interactions that this is happening. Increasingly, we're also seeing institutions and companies deliberately setting aside time to learn directly from younger generations. So Julian, can you give us a sense of what this looks like?
Definitely. So recently, the Gyeongbuk Office of Education held a reverse mentoring program. So in this program, the traditional roles are reversed. The superintendent becomes the mentee, while the millennial Gen Z teachers and public officials acted as mentors. As mentors, they shared insights on their generation's working style as well as their organizational communication culture. Now, Korea, as we know, has a strong tradition of showing deep respect towards seniors, so it's not very common for the younger generation to mentor the older generation. However, I truly do believe that intergenerational communication and understanding are crucial to developing a brighter future for all. Innovation driven by the fresh ideas of younger generations will unlock new potential that has never been imagined before.
So this reverse mentoring actually started back in the US in 1999 when companies began pairing younger employees with senior executives to share new perspectives. And now, more than 25 years later, the concept seems to be gaining renewed attention here in Korea. So Ki, why do you think this idea is resonating so strongly today, and why is learning from the younger generation considered so important now?
I mean, obviously they have different ideas, right? But then sometimes so here it is. There are three little phrases that often get used to poke fun at MZers or more of a Z generation at the workplace. 제가요? Me? 이걸요? This? And 왜요? Really? Why? And they're seen as a kind of responses young employees get and give when they don't accept their boss's order right away. So I'm gonna we're gonna play a small skit with Julian and I.
Cool.
So I'm gonna be just a superintendent or a boss at a company, and whereas Julian's gonna play a Z generation newbie to the company. So here it is. How about a company dinner tonight, Thursday, and have a small drink?
Sure, of course. Honestly, having a team dinner every week is exhausting. I don't want to drink with my coworkers. I'd rather go on a date or hit the gym.
Cut. And that's kind of situation that people are talking about. And yes, it's usually painted in a negative tone, a negative light. But when you take a closer look, what the younger generation is actually doing is asking questions and trying to figure out, find a way of working what makes sense to them. And this mindset and approach to work is very different from the previous generations. And instead of dismissing it just as a simple conflict, companies are starting to recognize it as a generational difference. And some are even introducing reverse mentoring programs to bridge the gap. And Bill Gates famous Bill Gates once said, the laziest person can be very creative because they try to find a way to not work but get the result done at the same time. So they're also hugely influential group of consumers, and understanding them isn't just about workplace harmony. It's all about a smart way to connect with the market.
I mean, since Bill Gates is visiting Korea, maybe that's something you can talk to him about as well.
Maybe, for sure.
And as a Gen Z, like, I also agree, like, for me, like, really understanding why certain things are the way they are is really important. Because I truly believe that a lot of misunderstanding comes from, like, not really understanding, like, where they're coming from, and or that's where conflicts arise, too. So also from a business perspective, it makes a lot of sense. So trends are changing faster than ever, so companies say it's more important than ever to stay ahead. So many are now putting millennial and Gen Z employees front and center as key planners, giving them the chance to shape projects and influence decision-making in ways that weren't really common in the past. So how exactly are companies doing this, and what impact is it having on the workplace, Julian?
Yeah, so at one company, employees born in the 90s were selected as in-house merchandise supporters, and they hold a new product evaluation every month. This actually helps the company gauge the market reactions when launching new products. But beyond just product quality, the employees identify areas for improvement in packaging, events, and other aspects, and their pays are actually pretty in line with actual market responses. Now, there is actually another company that created a welfare shopping mall site called the MZ Specialty Section, which is planned and operated by the MZ generation employees. This reportedly attracted far more visitors compared to other specialty sections, about 25% more to be exact. And personally, I really think that it's good that companies are listening to their employees. It helps the employees do an actual better job with their work quality, as well as working with a product that they actually enjoy. And people can enjoy shopping products that meet their expectations too.
So it shows that when companies actually listen to their younger workers, it also produces great results in the market as well. So Keith, do you know any other ways that young employees are making a difference?
Sure, their skills and maybe intuitions towards the world of new media are amazing, like YouTube, TikTok, or other social media, all those platforms. And the content led by younger generation and younger staff feels fresh and relatable because they weave in the latest memes, popular dramas, and song lyrics, just like K-pop Demon Hunters nowadays. It adds this sense of energy, humor, and familiarity that really connects with people and sometimes even goes viral on online communities. What's also interesting is that not just about highlighting the positive side, they're also tackling real challenges and offering solutions to long-standing issues, which is why the public response has been so strong. When I was working for the Ministry of Unification about 15 years ago, the ministry actually was one of the very first ones to have the Facebook page, and interacting with the fans and give out the some of the gifts through that webpage. And I was the one who was in charge of the marketing because back then I was the youngest when I was super young. And in fact, Jeju City nowadays has taken a step further. They actually hold auditions to select the right civil servants for their YouTube channel to shine and even provide acting lessons to them.
That's really interesting. So back in the day when you worked with the Unification Ministry, what was the response like with that?
It was great. People were not really interested in unification in general, because North Korea and South Korea are always fighting each other. The news wasn't great, but then they come in, they learn. And then the reason why we had that page is to change our conception towards unification, so reunification. So that's why we had a pretty good public response, and it even got awards from the government for having a better marketing strategy.
And I think what you said about Jeju City also doing this is also really interesting, because I didn't think public officials would be interested in getting involved, but the fact they're holding auditions means that a lot of people want to do this, right?
Exactly, because two things. Number one, to find out the right person, right fit for the specific position on a YouTube channel, but also, just sitting down and doing their job in front of the desk could be boring, whereas this is a chance to just get out of the office and try something new as a public servant. So I think it's a good opportunity, and it's just a change in the trend.
So to learn more about this reverse mentoring, how it's shaping interactions between generations, we're going to speak with an education expert, and that conversation will take place right after the break, so don't go anywhere.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
Joining us today is Dr. Park Nam-gi, the former president of Gwangju National University of Education. Hi, Dr. Park. Thank you so much for connecting with us today.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Thanks.
So as an educator and a member of the older generation, what do you see as the main benefits of this reverse mentoring trend?
Do I really look like a member of the old generation?
You don't, though.
It's a joke.
You don't.
Actually, the youngsters don't like this kind of joke. They say it's MZ에게. That's why we need reverse mentoring. Okay, let me talk about the benefits. So reverse mentoring helps, like you say, already bridge the generation gap. So we learn the most when we teach or mentoring. So in preparing to teach and throughout the teaching process, the younger mentors also grows and develops their knowledge and skills. And reverse mentoring also builds respect across generations. It shows that learning is not one way, but a partnership. So when older generation do something and the younger people share ideas, and schools and workplaces can grow stronger and more innovative and more inclusive. So for reverse mentoring, to succeed, several key condition efforts are needed. It doesn't mean like if you just do the reverse mentoring, it will work. It doesn't work like that. So they have clear purpose and goal setting, proper mentor-mentee matching. So sometimes maybe need rematching based on the feedback, and sufficient prior training for both mentor and mentee. Because if you are not trained enough, it doesn't work well. And continuity of the program, because many company or many organization, they just do one time and it doesn't go on well. So you have to keep going on. And maybe based on that, on performance management need. So these kind of things, we should prepare for that. If not, then it doesn't work well.
Great. So hi, Dr. Park. Why do you think that reverse mentoring is becoming more common in today's society?
It's because our world is changing very quickly, especially with technology and social values. As a result, the gap in experience, skills, and value between younger and older generations are widening. This can lead to communication and mutual understanding difficulties. So younger and older generations, even while living in the same space, works in the same space, end up acting as if they live in different worlds. So reverse mentoring can turn these differences into opportunities for mutual learning. So younger generations often understand new tools, digital cultures, and trends faster. And at the same time, older generations have long experience, wisdom, and deep knowledge. So by turning the traditional mentoring model upside down, both sides can learn from each other. So through this reverse mentoring, students in school case or younger teachers can guide senior educators to understand these changes better. So this helps schools stay connected, and it's really the real lives of students, because all generation teachers, it's really hard to understand students. In that case, if you make the student as a mentor to how to guide the students, then maybe you really can learn many things. I think that's why even school needs those kind of things.
Thank you, Doctor. Based on your insights, and to be more specific, and believe me, Doctor, I'm much closer to older generation. So on the flip side, what lessons from the older generation do you think young people should pay attention to?
Yeah, when I talk to my students, I tell them, don't think we are the same people who live in the same world. I am the future person, come from your future. So young people can learn powerful lessons from older generation because they come from your future. So they are the person who already lived the years you are working into. So ask those people, ask those visitors from the future, anything you are curious about regarding your own future, then you will find many answers. They offer perspectives. They have faced many changes and hard times. so they can teach patience how to bounce back and how to stick with the goal when the road is rough. Older generations show long-term thinking, how to slow down and see the big picture and make choices that age well. So if young act as a member of the reverse mentoring program, they may find the role tougher than expected and results not instant. So use those feelings to see what older mentors struggle with too. So when we join young energy with proven wisdom and try to understand each other, we may build a stronger and steadier future, I think.
Right, that was a great reminder that we tend to focus on how things are changing, like how times are changing, but like there's a lot of struggles. We face a lot of the same struggles. So that was a really great reminder for the younger generation to also lean and kind of rely on the older generation as well. So thank you for sharing your insight with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we've just heard from an education expert about the benefits of reverse mentoring, why it's becoming more common, and the key lessons younger generations can take from their older colleagues. So Julian, what about you? As a member of the younger generation, is there anything in particular you'd like to learn from the older generation?
Well, there is a lot, actually. As a Gen Zer, I don't think I have as much experience compared to my older colleagues, so I genuinely do believe that there's valuable insight that comes from time and experience. But that being said, I'd like to get more insight on building a more long-lasting career and working on work-life balance strategies. But combining my perspective as a Gen Zer, I really do hope that with this, I can build a strong base for my career. But I do want to mention that I don't find just the older generation to have insightful advice. Just like we discussed on the show, I believe that the younger generation, as well as the generation below mine, also has a valid and interesting perspective that is worth listening to.
That's a great reminder. And to wrap up our discussion for today, looking ahead, what do you think is the most effective way for younger and older generations to collaborate, learn from each other, and move forward together in the same direction?
Well, just like Dr. Park said and Julian said, we need to listen to each other. Diversity is really what allows growth to reach its full potential. It's not just about one side changing as much as the older generation needs to adapt to a rapidly changing environment and new environment. The MZ generation also needs to show some respect, and it's all about finding that balance and harmony.
So in the end, reverse mentoring isn't just about age, it's about perspective. So when older and younger generations take the time to really listen to each other, they do more than bridge the gap between them. They create opportunities to exchange wisdom and fresh ideas, to challenge assumptions, and to discover new ways of moving forward together. And that collaboration across generations may be one of the most powerful tools we have for adapting to a world that never seems to stop changing. And this brings us to the end of today's episode of News Generation. But News Gen will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Big thanks to Julian.
Thank you for having me today.
Coming in, and also Ki.
Thank you.
For joining us today. And to all our viewers, thank you so much for watching, and we hope you have the best day. We are
News Generation.